but we're going to wrap.
Money in the bank.
Rates are good. Pretty exciting.
You know why? Right.
Free money. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. You will be rewarded for staying with us because this is the money segment of the program, the one that everybody looks forward to. Kelvin Kaemingk, ladies and gentlemen, 651-231-2500. That's the number to call for the great rates and the low closing fees.
Correct.
What's up, buddy?
I'm doing well. So what problems? So we always start the segment, what problems did you solve this past week? So what did you solve this week?
I had a little bit of an issue where we thought a deal was going to fall apart.
Okay.
So a buyer's agent called up. I'm the listing agent on the transaction. Buyer's agent calls up, says things are going south on our end. It wasn't anything to financially do with the purchase of the property. There were some personal issues going on with their side of the transaction, kind of a crisis mode for them.
Yeah.
And just kind of explain to them, just take a step back from everything and just consider what we're dealing with here and what this crisis may create a crisis for my folks as well.
The cool head in the room.
The cool head in the room. I tried to be.
Right.
And so really just reference back to when the buyers made the offer on the property and said, if you could, try to get yourself back to when you wrote the purchase agreement and what it meant to you to get this home. They won it, right? They quote won in multiple offer situation. And go back to that spot where you were at that time and think about why you wanted to buy the house to begin with.
Right.
And in this situation, they actually wrote us a little bit of a letter, and so I had them reference back to their own writing about why they wanted to purchase this property.
It's really smart.
And they did, and a couple days later, we kind of everything kind of settled out a little bit. Found out, for them that the crisis was as critical.
Right.
To not purchasing the home. So they're going to continue to move forward and purchase the property. My folks will be able to move out of state, which they have very much planned to do over the course of the last 45 days.
Yep.
And so everything will continue on as planned. Fingers crossed. It's closing at the end of the month. So.
Good. Nice job. Senior, did you have a problem you solved this week?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, two times the same problem, and that is water in the house.
Okay.
And on both one of these occasions, it wasn't even a client. I mean, just we have such a wide database of past clients and friends, and I always like to be the guy you call.
Right.
So if you got a problem, just call me, because the odds are we've helped people with it. And water in the house, water running down into the basement, what do you do? So I got them connected with a couple of different contractors that they're going to call to go out there and make that repair, and we'll marshal through that, and I'll help them out with that. But it's that kind of stuff that we really appreciate, because it has nothing to do with us. We're not going to make any money off of it or do anything. But
just being helpful.
I love to be helpful. Yeah.
So that's so good. My problem I solved this week is...
What'd you solve, Cal? Did you solve any problems this week?
I'm trying to solve. Okay. So here's one thing I learned. You guys may not know this, but when you have a minimum payment on your credit card, got to pay the whole thing. Did you know that?
The whole minimum payment.
The whole minimum
payment. Not a partial
payment.
minimum payment.
Correct.
Okay.
My folks paid partial for 2 months, and now they have 2 30-day late, so they're 60-day late with an outstanding balance, and dropped the credit score 101 points. And this is as you're towards the end of the transaction. They just do a refresh. I mean, that
blew it up.
Just doesn't happen. It's a refresh, but all of a sudden they saw a 101 point drop.
Yeah.
Well, now you have to. So now we're like, who can we add on, and who can we do this? And mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, anybody can come on and help. And then now we're on our third person, because the next person
might have some gray area.
Well, had birds of a feather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a reason that's a statement, right? Because they're similar in what they're doing. So dealing with
the second person didn't have very good credit as well.
Correct. Okay. Yep. And now the third didn't as well, but has income. So now we're playing it that way. We'll solve it because we solve it. But man, come on. And it's one of those things you feel
got to be careful throughout the process of purchasing a property, right? We can't go buy a new car or finance our washer and dryer just yet, or not make a full
minimum
payment on a credit card.
Yep.
Apparently.
Apparently, that's what I learned. So we're getting that. One of the articles that came up, I wanted your feedback. It said home prices are clearly bumping up, and it went through Case-Shiller, CoreLogic, Black Knight, Zillow, and it's going. Home prices nationally are going boom, boom, up every month a little bit. It's minuscule, but they're saying, but the headline still reads home prices back up.
Right.
I'm not seeing that. As we talked in the first segment, I'm seeing price reduction, price reduction, price reduction. Yet late, so I have that, but then I'm also having multiple offers on every deal I'm in. So,
sometimes multiple offers get you back to the asking price, though, too.
Right, that's what I'm wondering.
There's
right?
that, and I think it's a comparison because in January of last quarter of 22, there was a lot of forecasting that the end of the world was coming.
Yep.
So now you've got this dichotomy here where this is what we were saying was going to happen, but actually prices are up just a skosh.
Yep.
And so that's a big difference from where they thought it was going to be versus where it is. And of course, they just want a headline.
Right. And Dakota County, I looked this morning, it's up 1%.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we talked about. So I think just be cautious with the headlines you read. One good headline, though, is that mortgage rates came back this week because of concerns on the economic stuff, the no banking crisis, according to the Federal Reserve. However, we're on the verge of the fourth largest bank going under right now. So we'll kind of see what happens there. But it did bring rates down, so we're able to lock like 5.99 30-year fixed money. That's paying a point. Like used to be just one origination, but we're flirting with that high 5, and May 10th, remember, is the day I gave you guys that we're going to start seeing things come back.
5 days.
5 days away, and I'm already in there.
Yeah, you're
like
selling.
I'm already like winning.
So, but you're giving a headline and you're not telling us specifics. Like we're talking about, prices are up, ooh, and it's 1% Dakota County, and you say, rates are back.
down. Hey, rates
what does that mean? 0.1%?
No, 5.99. I was 6.99
with
a week ago.
with a buy down.
Well, but
What's
I'm
par?
just saying that about that.
Yeah, what's par?
Yeah, par would be probably 6 1/4.
Okay, so
6
last week it
3/8.
was 7.
Yep. So it's coming the right direction. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to stay. I think we're going to be like low 6s, but we're going to trend down if we get into mid 5s. And can we just stay there?
Yeah.
Just leave me alone. Let me have like 5% money. I'm great. Then you guys need to get to work.
Yes.
Yeah. Do your
I
side.
think that could
So,
do it.
So home prices clearly up a little bit. Not much really. Jobs report came in this morning. 253,000 new jobs in April. Expectation was 165. So you're going to see an increase there. Again, the government's trying to do everything they can to slow the economy down, but the economy just won't slow down. But we were talking this morning, Keith, just it's sectors, right? Because you also see these big tech companies laying off, thousands of people. Other areas are starting to grow. So, the details in the number, but the headline is jobs are up, right? And then
With the caveat to layoffs.
Right. Well, they do a revision afterwards, and they talked in the report that the revisions are about 115,000 jobs over the last 2 months were actually lost, right? So it's like, hey, we're doing great, and then we're like, guys, we were wrong, But the headline is the headline, and it's making the markets react this morning.
Right.
So things are okay in our world. We just need to be busier. We have a lot of buyers. We need more inventory, and I just don't know how we're going to get that inventory so that we can.
It's all friction of interest rates. I mean, the part of the lower sales numbers is their lower inventory. There isn't as much out there to buy.
Right.
So you have people competing over what is there.
Yep.
But we could easily double the inventory and still have a very robust market.
So, and then the last thing I just say, the other problems that we're solving is we're doing a lot of. I'd like to do this cash flow analysis for people. And I'm just getting a lot of nice traction on that. Trying to figure out what's the best use of the money. So when somebody's selling their property, they're coming out pretty well, and there's nothing that's more fun than trying to allocate dollars in the smartest way possible as they're going into their new home. So they may have thought, hey, I'm going to put a lot more down. Now we might put down 15% or 10%, but we're getting rid of this debt over here. And just that cash flow analysis is really gotten a lot of nice traction.
I think it's a good idea to do because a lot of people are sitting on equity in their existing property. So if they are in a position where they're making a move for whatever reason that might be, they have a lot of stored wealth there that they can use to help out their next situation.
Yeah.
Buying interest rates down, putting more money down, putting less money down, paying
Getting
off
rid of
some
ugly
debt.
debt.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And so
We have somebody right now that's in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, coming up to the end of it. They've had 12 months of payments, so we're able to finance them.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're looking. I was going through their stuff and their auto loans. They're paying not 21%, but 20 point something percent on auto loans.
Oof.
Right? Let alone some of the other stuff that they just held on to. I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, here's what we're going to do. And we're knocking off debt. And they're just like, now these are people that they're looking at new construction.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, just as a caveat, new construction, they're going to try and pitch you on the land. Like, we will never leave you. I'm like, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So all the stuff that these lenders will just throw out there. Yeah, I think if you do a great job helping people structure their world better,
Yeah.
it creates some really nice loyalty. And we're pretty competitive on with some of them.
Yep.
Some are great, and then you concede, right? But
Mm-hmm.
some of them we can compete with, and it's kind
Well,
of fun.
it's smart
so.
to take a look at the fees because sometimes they're up a little bit, and
Yeah.
just be able to compare and make sure that you are getting a good deal. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
not, you still have a great company with you guys here to go back to. So 651-231-2500. Give Calvin a call,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
651-231-2500. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Hit our website up, as always, hittnergroup.com, HITTNER group.com, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group, the leaders of the #1 Coldwell Banker Burnett real estate team in Minnesota. If you want to get more when you sell and pay less when you buy, call 612-627-8000 or go online to hittnergroup.com.